Hare Krishna and welcome. Welcome, Denike. So we are continuing our study of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, first canto, chapter 2, beginning, and we're diving into text number 20. And we're going to be going over the subject of from Shraddha to Prema, from initial interest to full ecstatic devotion. And we'll cover some of the things that Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, we'll cover some of those things as they are elaborately discussed in a book called Madhurya Kadambini. Denike, how are you doing? Are you
in there? Nothing too exciting over here. How are you?
Very good, very good, very good. So here, let me open up our readings. Now do an invocation. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Shajagatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha Vanchakalpa Tarubhascha Kripa Sindhuve Chapatitanam Bhavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha. And we'll have our Vasnashcha Prayeshu Padreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki and Kadachan Katanshana Smite Yasmin Dushkaram Shukaram Bhavet Vismite Viparitam Shat Shishitanya Namamitam. So let me share my screen. Hare Krishna. Evam Prasana Manaso Bhagavat Bhakti Yogataha Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate. Evam, which means thus. Prasana, enlivened. His manasa, his mind is enlivened. This is after, as we did the previous verse, is Tadara Justamo Bhava Kamo Lobo Dayasche. This is when the person becomes free from the influences of Tamagun, Rajagun, and they become free from influences of desire and also hankering, Kama Loba Dayasche, all these different qualities of Rajagun and Tamagun. Kama Loba Dayasche, Cheta Eter Anadvitam. So the Anadvitam, the Cheta becomes very clear and clean. The consciousness becomes very clear and clean. Anadvitam. Stitam, he becomes situated, standing, as we said, as Krishna said today in the class, Tita, Stani Stita. He becomes situated, standing. Sattve, in Sattva, Prasidati. So this is after that stage. The mind becomes enlivened by this Bhakti Yoga, Bhagavat Bhakti Yogataha. So what is yoga? Yoga means contact, actual connection. And such a connection that you get Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam. So Jnana means knowledge, but Vijnana means actual realization. It means something that you actually experience. Mukta Sangasya Jayate. So then you become free from the sangha, the material association. It becomes completely on the spiritual platform. So read the translation. Thus established in the mode of unalloyed goodness, the man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotional service to the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead and the stage of liberation from all material associations. In Bhagavad Gita 7.3, so that 7.3 is that Manushanam sahastreshu kashchir yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kashchir manveti tatvataha. So that's Manusha, out of many kinds of humans. Kashchir Manushanam sahastreshu, thousands of them, thousands of different types of people. Hardly one is seeking siddha, truth. So out of many thousands of ordinary men, one fortunate man endeavors for perfection of life. Mostly men are conducted by the modes of passion and ignorance. So this is the three modes of nature, only passion and ignorance, and not really in sattva. And thus they're always in lust, desire, hankering, ignorance, and sleep. Out of many such man-like animals, there's actually a man who knows the responsibility of human life and thus tries to make life perfect by following the prescribed duties. So a human is someone who uses their unique human capabilities. Now, what is uniquely human is this quality of questioning, who am I, what am I, what's the goal of life? If one is not using that ability, then here, sometimes you find in the Vedic literature, they're called dvipadapashu, two-legged animal. Looks like a human, but is not using the human life to its full potential. It's like taking, $4,000 Apple computer and using it to, pound nails on the wall. It's not a good use of such an advanced opportunity, machinery. Out of many thousands of such persons who have attained success in human life, one may know scientifically, this is vijnanam, scientifically means experientially, about the personality of God as Sri Krishna. In the same Bhagavad Gita 8.55, it is also said that scientific knowledge of Krishna is understood only by the process of devotional service. So I believe that should be bhaktyamam abhijanati, that Krishna says, I am only known through bhakti. This realization of Bhagavan, this full, complete realization of God, is only revealed through devotion. Through Jnana Yoga, tinged with bhakti, you can come to understand the kind of the personal aspect. With Ashtanga Yoga, tinged with bhakti, you can understand the Lord within everyone's heart, this Paramatma feature. But to understand the complete personal feature of the Lord, you must have this, it's only through this element of bhakti alone. The very same thing is confirmed herein by the above words. No ordinary man, even one who has attained success in human life, can know scientifically or perfectly the personality of Godhead. Perfection of human life is attained when one can understand that he is not the product of matter, but is in fact spirit. As soon as one understands that he has nothing to do with matter, he at once seizes his material hankerings and becomes enlivened as a spiritual being. This attainment of success is possible when one is above the modes of passion and ignorance. In other words, when one is actually a Brahmana by qualification. A Brahmana is a symbol of Sattva Guna, or the mode of goodness. And others who are not in the mode of goodness, either Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, are less than Sudras. The rabbinical stage is the highest stage of human life because it is good, because of its good qualities. So rabbinical stage means someone who's actually seeking Brahman, seeking what is spirit. One cannot be a devotee, unless one at least qualifies as a Brahmana. As a devotee is already a Brahmana by action. but that is not the end of it. As referred above, such a Brahmana has to become a Vaishnava. In fact, to be actually in the transcendental stage. A pure Vaishnava is a liberated soul and is transcendental even. Okay, is transcendental even to the position of a Brahmana. So Brahmana is in the Sattva Guna, and the Vaishnava is acting on the Shuddha Sattva platform. In the material stage, even a Brahmana is also a conditioned soul, because although in the Brahminical stage of the conception of Brahman, our transcendence is realized, the scientific knowledge of Bhagavan, or the Supreme Lord, is lacking. So one may realize Brahman, one of the lower realizations, not full, complete realizations of the divine, but not yet understand Bhagavan. One has to surpass the Brahminical stage and reach to the Vasudeva stage to understand understand the personality of Godhead, Krishna. The science of the personality of Godhead is a subject matter for the study by the postgraduate students in the spiritual mind. Foolish men or men with poor fund of knowledge do not understand the Supreme Lord, and they interpret Krishna according to their respective whims. The fact, however, is that one cannot understand the science of the personality of Godhead unless one is freed from the contaminations of the material modes, even up to the stage of a Brahmana. When one is qualified, when a qualified Brahmana actually becomes a Vaishnava, the enlivened state of liberation, he can know what is actually the personality of Godhead. Nice. Okay. Open up. Read. How are you doing, Carmen? Carmen G? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I'm doing okay. Yesterday was a very, very busy night. So everyone right now is like kind of like tired and moving slow. But how are you?
Very good, very good. Beautiful day. Let's see. Okay, we got our 9 stages of bhakti, and sometimes divided into 14 stages. So we had our first verse that it's covering 3 items: Shraddha, initial interest; faith, willingness to participate. Then comes sadhusanga, the association of those who are spiritual practitioners. Then comes bhajana kriya, acting, actually doing. Kriya, karma, means acting, performing, applying worship into one's life. So Shushusho Shadadanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Shanmat Sevaya Vipra Punyatirtha Nishevanat. Okay, and so one develops this attachment to hearing about God, about Krishna, by coming in contact with Mahat Seva, great souls, and then especially engaging, one is inclined to assist them or engage in their service. So Shringvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Yadantushto Hyavadrani Vidanoti Suhit Satam. So this is now you're applying, and things start to work on your heart, and then in Activity, then you're really going to the stage of cleaning the heart. The Abhadranis, the Vidanoti means so it starts to clean. And so we said some of the first obstacles, remember the first obstacles, this is for really a young devotee, is the false kind of pure devotee syndrome, the false sense of enthusiasm, utsahamayi, then ganatarla, becoming sometimes diligent, sometimes negligent, that's called thick and thin. Then also Vishaya Sangara, war with this, with the desires of the senses. One is struggles against the desires, like to, you know, the things that they're trying to give up, such as intoxication, maybe eating meat, or maybe you know, sleeping around. Then comes after that is called niyamakshama. Niyamakshama means not struggling against the things that you're trying to stop doing, but struggling to the things that you're trying to do. The things like such as chanting japa, reading books, offering obeisances, doing arati, going to holy places. One may plan to do all these things, but struggle to fulfill all their plans. Then there is also, what else? There is, let me just check, make sure I feel like I missed one. Vyuda Vikalpa, the third one, is Vyuda Vikalpa, the mind oscillating between extreme, like renunciation, where I'll go to Vrindavan, I will leave everything, or kind of being worldly. I will practice devotional service, but I will, you know, have a business, I'll have a family, etc. And the mind kind of goes through this struggle of trying to figure out how do they apply Krishna consciousness to their life. And the last one is Turanga Rangini. Turanga Rangini. Maybe we can open this up, this file that we showed last time. Oh, go to, let me just search it. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Okay, are you seeing my Chrome browser, or are you seeing this poster? See if I'm sharing the right screen.
Seeing the poster, the Bhakti process.
Okay, you're not seeing. Okay, let me turn it on to. Let's share this screen. Now?
It just says it's a chart, and it says verses in 9 stages, individual Sanskrit phrases, and 14 stages of Bhakti. Oh, now it's switched to really cool.
Okay, so we have that. Let's see. Do we have a? What do we have, like a little? What do you call? Where's a tool so I can put a? Hare Krishna. Spotlight. Okay. Okay, can you see? So you got the Utsahamai, kind of a little bit proud with enthusiasm, thinking when somebody is, you know, I just started, I must be really advanced, and is sometimes thick. Here's like, and negligent or very, you know, persistent. Oscillating resolve. Then comes the struggle with all the things that they're trying to give up, then things that they're trying to do, and then the person may be seeking to enjoy all the benefits that comes with bhakti, because bhakti is attractive, and a person who practices bhakti becomes more attractive. You know, they become well-rounded, their character becomes more well-rounded. It brings good fortune to their life. So the person may be seeking that. On a higher stage, the person's not necessarily seeking it, but they're still affected by it. So that's here. You see this Taranga Rangini, almost sounds the same as Bhaktya Uta. These are obstacles which obstacles of our past karmas, good and bad, obstacles by imperfectly performing bhakti, and obstacles by aparad. Now, I know these are all in a line, but actually these obstacles are eradicated at different speeds. Good karma and bad karma obstacles, let's see, I have it written down here. Maybe we can I just started writing it down. Let's see, open. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Okay, this is not this is like just a little bit of piece of information, not really fully filled out. Okay, so mistakes in bhakti, by practicing bhakti at the bhajana kriya stage, where you're just starting to practice, there is some purification of it. Anarchana vritti, it's going away. You're not really looking for it directly, but you're still falling into the trap. You know? If there's some glorification of the various devotees engaging in service, Carmen made this garland, and then our ears might perk up. Yes, that's nice. Thank you for saying my name. But then maybe the next time you made the garland, you made this and that, and then they don't say your name, and you feel so discouraged. Oh no, they didn't say my name. Why am I even doing it? So at the stage of nishta, that kind of these unwanted things done from mistakes in bhakti is completely gone, and it's absolutely gone at the stage of ruchi. Same thing with bad karma. The effects of bad karma, it's almost completely gone. Even at the beginning stage, where one is just starting to performing devotion, bhakti is very powerful. It is completely gone at the stage of nishta and absolute unruchi. But offenses take longer. Even at prema, at the ninth stage of bhakti, one is still not absolutely free of the effects of offenses. In the beginning, there isn't really any offenses, because you can't make offenses into bhakti unless you're actually performing bhakti. You might be performing something like good and bad karma, but you can't be performing offenses in bhakti. And when you're at the stage of anarchana vritti, it's the elimination is pretty strong. You're making some pervasive, but it still might be quite evident. At bhava, it is almost complete. At prema, it is complete, but it isn't actually complete until you're there face to face with Krishna. So these different anarthas are being eradicated according to different rates. They're going away by different rates. So in our previous verse, we talked about the Tadarajas Tamo Bhava. So here we're going to hear, we talked a little bit about this stage of nishta, this firm, unshakable resolve. And so somebody is very nicely practicing devotional service at some, they start to develop some type of attraction. And so at the stage of nishta, coming to the stage of nishta, this is the last 5 obstacles at the time of hearing, chanting, and remembering. So if we're not at the stage of nishta, then when it comes to hearing about spiritual life, we might find ourselves a little bit drowsy, a little bit distracted. or even if we're not necessarily distracted or even drowsy, we're just apathetic, just for no reason, not have no interest. Our minds might still go to very darker thoughts, or are we just attracted to the mundane pleasures? So this is, you say that rajas tamo bhava. When we're free from these things, then we can understand to be on the stage of nishta. So hearing, chanting, and remembering. So most likely it's most strong at the stage of remembering. Remembering means like meditation. We probably, if we close our eyes and try to think of Krishna's pastimes or meditate, we might just fall asleep. Or we might fall asleep in kirtan, in japa. And it's really bad if we're falling asleep in kirtan. So these are like successive in general, not always, but it is, if you're falling asleep in a beautiful kirtan, oh man, you really got the tamagun really affecting you. This is especially if you've had proper rest and still the mind is so disinterested that you start to fall asleep. Then that's an example of this laya, this drowsiness. More common in chanting than kirtan, and more common in meditation or remembering than chanting. So let's look, we can pull up, here we go. Shraddha to Prema, Kindle. Let's open up Madhurya Kadambini. It's a nice book. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so I don't know where we're at. Let's see. It's not a very big book. Okay. I think this is one of the earlier chapters. This just looks like it's one of the earlier ones. Steps of Bhakti, Shraddha Prema, the Bhajana Kriya. Yeah, this is. Yeah, Uttamahi, but Vishaya Sangara, third shower. This is all the offenses against the holy name, the 10 offenses. And nectar begins to flow. Here we go. So Nishta means to have the quality. Spotlight. There you go. Nishta means to have the quality of steadiness. Naishtalya, non-movement. Like chalati means an unsteady mind. The mind is always moving. Though the devotee strives for steadiness every day, while the narcas are still present, he will not attain it. This is due to the 5% persistent obstacles: laya, sleep, vikshepa, distraction, apratapati, indifference or disinterest in spiritual topics, shaya, the tendency towards bad habits, and rasa, swada, the taste for material enjoyment. After the stage of anartha nivritti, when the obstacles are almost completely destroyed, what is that? Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu. Nashta aprayeshu means almost completely destroyed. What is almost completely destroyed? Abhadreshu, all these unwanted obstacles, unauspicious things. Abhadraj. One achieves steadiness. Thus, the symptom of Nishta is the absence of these 5 obstacles. Okay, and then we read about this. And here they're quoting the verse here. Next page. Here the word cha is used in a collect. Nishta is of two types. So here is two types of nishta. Concerning bhakti directly and concerning elements favorable to bhakti. Bhakti anukula vastu vartani, shakshat bhakti vartani. So shakshat bhakti has unlimited forms. There are three basic divisions: bodily, vocal, and mental. Kayaki, vachiki, and manasi. Okay, so so according to some sages, it starts with the steadiness in the body, then steadiness in the vocal, and then steadiness in the mind. And then from other sages disagree, say this, people might just have particular natures, and their body, vocal, and mental strength may vary. So I think that's what we were looking at here. Yeah, here. So the steadiness is mind, body, mind, speech, and body, or body, mind, and words. BMW, you can remember that. It's a BMW right there. We definitely want to get our BMW aligned. Okay. Back to Kindle. Elements favorable to bhakti refer to humility, giving respect to others, friendliness. Now, this is here. Let's look at this. One often is going to see, someone's kindness, mercy, forgiveness, truthfulness. That's often how we're going to judge. Okay, this person is a really elevated saint. They have all these beautiful qualities. And but actually, nishta is really defined by their steadiness in their mind, completely always going towards Krishna, their body, and their speech. The person might not be actually yet manifesting these qualities. For example, the opposite could be said, that someone could be very kind, merciful, forgiveness, but still not really have steady faith and devotion towards God. They might have very sattvic, brahminical qualities, but their attachment and devotion might be on a lower level. So nishta is really being weighed on this side. This is what we can kind of see a little bit of this. We can see the vachiki, the kayaki, the body and their speech. We can't really see their mind. But it's not necessarily only, we can't just evaluate just by someone's their saintly qualities. Somebody who is somebody who is at this stage or higher could actually evaluate. It's just like if you're if you are a genius in piano, then you can evaluate somebody else and if somebody could be a genius, somebody could be very, very good. And it's only usually the ones who are great geniuses that that have that discernment can clarify what's the difference between the two. So elsewhere, women receive steadiness in the qualities. So arrogant devotee who has attained steadiness in bhakti. So somebody may still have the, I guess he has some proclivity in the body to act in a certain way, but he still has his devotion, his heart is very steady, but he's not really manifesting the qualities of saintliness yet. Tad anukulya vastu vartani. That's a very fifth shower of nectar. So he starts to develop a taste, a very, very deep taste and devotion. And he's like, it's like a young studious boy who's studying, and then he develops a great attachment to it, and it doesn't take him time to really grasp meaning, and he finds great pleasure in studying. So similarly, devotee will, at the stage, start to develop ruchi, where they develop a type of intense addiction to the activities of bhakti. In the beginning, it's an addiction to the activities of bhakti, and latter, it's an addiction to Krishna himself. So on our very earlier stage, it's like we're like a person who has the disease jaundice, meaning jaundice is a type of disease wherein the person will taste sugar candy as bitter, and it's a type of disease in Ayurveda where sugar candy is a type of medicinal treatment. So the treatment itself will taste bitter, but by the process of taking the treatment, the tongue will gradually be brought to its natural state, and things will start to taste sweet again. So devotion for the beginning person, it may taste bitter. Person doesn't really have a deep attraction, but as they develop their bhakti, as it comes up, as we're going up, arts and divinity, we start to develop a great attachment. It's no longer just good for us. We philosophically, we understand, okay, this is something good for me. I develop a great joy in performing the activities. So much so is that as someone is speaking about Krishna, or if I'm in a kirtan, or if I'm reading, I won't find myself drowsy or full of distraction or disinterested. I won't find my mind going to low consciousness or attraction to other material ideas of enjoyment. Does that make sense? Carmen
Yes.
G? Dana K? Is that making sense?
What's that?
So this is our kind of, the person on this stage also develops a humility. They're thinking about how they previously were thinking, and they feel like they're still in that stage. So listen to this. He says, "Oh, such am I that my sense of taste, that I lick up the bitter tasting, deceitful, profane gossip, as if it was nectar." So gossip is like puke. And we find that our minds are crazy, and we're like licking this puke off the ground, somebody else's puke even. So we're saying, what is wrong with me that I lick up the bitter, deceitful, profane gossip as if it was nectar? But I remain apathetic to hearing the names and qualities and pastimes of the Lord. I am so fallen. When I start to hear about the Lord, I comfortably fall asleep. But at the chance for vulgar idle talk, my ears prick up and I become wide awake. This way, I've always stained the assembly of the devotees. What sinful acts have I done, even in my decrepit old age, simply to satisfy my insatiable belly? So this is this humility. It's actually repenting former states of consciousness. So we're going to talk about ruchi, and how this ruchi means what? Does anybody know what this word ruchi means?
Taste.
Taste, yeah. So this taste is on two different levels. You ready? So this is a level of vastu, vaishiti, apekshani, and vastu, vaikshiti, anapekshani. I think the word vastu is referring to excellence. I don't know. We'll have to see. Or vaishiti. I don't know. So on the first stage of ruchi, the person has a taste. But if the kirtan is done exquisitely beautiful, oh my God, there is so much ecstasy. If the devotee is speaking with such poetry and clarity in depth and excellence. Oh, he enjoys it so much. If the deity worship is done with great purity and clarity and beauty, it's done with great, the outfits, the artistry. Oh, he's enjoying so much. If the prasadam is cooked so nicely, oh, he's enjoying so much. So that is, his taste depends on the excellence of the elements. So that is a lower stage. But this is because of a slight impurity in the heart. But in the higher stage, as soon as anyone is engaging in chanting or kirtan, he feels extremely joyful and ecstatic. As soon as anyone speaks about Krishna, as soon as anyone engages in, as soon as he sees the deity, he's feeling great ecstasy. So that means he has no impurity in his heart. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was pushing his disciples towards this level. He would oftentimes, when the devotee their service was to distribute Mahaprasadam, he would ask, okay, who asked for, did they just accept the Mahaprasadam from the deity of the Lord in ecstasy? Or did they say, oh, give me the sweets, give me the gulab jamun, oh, give me that samosa? Was their interest, was their taste dependent on the excellence of the elements? Many of these very advanced devotees, you can take all the food, the sweets, the salties, and just put it in a blender, and they will exquisitely enjoy Krishna's ecstasy in the form of his love and devotion that is transposed into the offering. And so they are not interested in the physical taste of the food, but the taste of the reciprocity of Krishna's love that's found in the prasadam. So very special, huh? So again, he's telling his mind, oh friend, why are you giving up the nectar of Krishna's names to talk about such useless things as family life, security, and all? What can I say to you? Myself, I'm so wicked. Though I received the precious jewel of bhakti by the mercy of my spiritual master, I'm so unfortunate that I kept it tied in the hem of my cloth. Unaware of its value, I searched out a cracked cowrie shell, a tiny speck of false happiness on the shore of the ocean of mundane activities. Thus wandering here and there, I passed my life in vain, not practicing any activity of bhakti. I've simply shown my lethargy. Okay. So on this stage of nishta, the mind one is no longer under the control of these things. But still the mind may sometimes, the person on the stage of nishta might not notice that their mind has been driven away from Krishna and brought into kind of material ideologies and subjects. And thus the person engages their intelligence and brings it back to Krishna. But on the stage of ruchi, oh, it's very different. At the stage of ruchi, it's the opposite. One may be thinking of something material, like, oh, I need to take the trash out. And somehow one doesn't know how his mind brings him to Krishna automatically, even when one is engaging his mind in material or just the practical matters of this world. The mind automatically, sneakily goes towards Krishna. So it's a kind of a flip of the situation. Because of what is the functioning of the mind? Attachment and aversion. And so whatever the mind is fixed on, the mind is like, you know, do you have to tell a young teenager, a young teenage boy, young teenage girl, you know, to think of their sweethearts? No, the mind goes that way. They don't need to be trained. It's just like the river goes towards the ocean. The mind is automatically attracted in a particular way. So when the soul is fixed on Krishna, Nishta, or actually more on the stage of Ruchi, both of them have this attachment. Ruchi is on a higher stage. Then the mind automatically is direct. It's rejecting. It's not interested in things that aren't its object of attraction, and it's automatically going towards its object of attraction. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Okay, let's see. What does he say? Okay, listen. Next, when the taste for doing bhajan extremes reaches extreme depth, Krishna becomes the very object of one's devotional service. One attains sakti. This is even higher. Attachment. We talked about how high Ruchi was, but we're going even higher. At the stage of a sakti, the desire creeper of bhakti bears buds, cluster of buds, heralding the swift appearance of the flowers of bhava, and then the fruits of prema. The difference between Ruchi and a Sakti is that Ruchi has mainly bhajan as its subject, whereas a Sakti mainly has the Lord, the object of bhajan, as a subject. So in Ruchi, we're very attached to the activities of worship, but that attachment deepens at a Sakti where we're just very attached to Krishna himself. Earlier stage, we're attached to the activities of worship of Krishna. Actually, Ruchi and Sakti have both their have them both as their subjects, bhajan and the object of bhajan. But they differ in that Ruchi is the immature stage of attachment, whereas Sakti is the mature stage. Asakti polishes the mirror of the heart to such a state the reflection of the Lord seems to be almost visible. This is a Sakti. This person's going. This is really going to go. He's really going to go mad. He's really going to. So he's just, it's like the Lord is just there, just right around the corner. Oh, my mind is being carried away by my material desires. Let me fix on the Lord. Prior to Sakti, on realizing his mind has been overpowered by material objects and desires, the devotee, by his deliberate efforts, withdraws the mind from them and tries to fix them upon the Lord's form, quality, and so forth. At the appearance of a Sakti, however, okay, maybe I mixed it up between Nishta and Ruchi. However, the absorption of mind is automatic without effort. Even at the stage of Nishta, the devotee is unable to detect when his mind withdraws from the topics and fix it on the material affairs. Okay, so that contrast is not between Ruchi, Nishta and Ruchi, but Nishta and Asakti. I don't know. This on the play. On the contrary, the stage of Sakti, one doesn't know how and when his mind withdraws from material objects and spontaneously absorbs itself in topics of the Lord. One below the level of Sakti can never experience this. Only a devotee on the level of Sakti can know this. Here, okay, so the person starts to go a little bit, obsessive and wild. Like he will like see a child and say, "Will I see Krishna today?" The kid will be like, I don't know, or no, and then he will. So he's really having this kind of very internal kind of meditation, and he's becoming very, very. And his friends will think he is scatterbrained. The karma mimamsas, which is the karma kanda philosophers, will think he's a fool. Those who are into like Vedanta will consider that he is in Maya, he's an illusion, And the devotees will say that he's attained the truth. And those who are offensive will say he's a pretender. But the devotee will be oblivious to honor and dishonor, having fallen into the current of the celestial river of attachment to the Lord, asakti. And you see, this is not a very big book, but there's so much information in here. And then he, okay, then his okay, should we read some of this? Carmen G?
Sure.
All right. When a Sakti achieves utmost maturity, it is called Rati or Bhava. Bhava is the budding stage. So, you know, before the sun rises, the whole sky is lit up. The whole sky is lit up. So before prema or pure love of God appears, it's really, everything starts to really light up. So let's see, what can we read? Bhava is so powerful. One atom of bhava totally uproots ignorance. What to speak of the profuse release of the fragrances of the flower of bhava that invites the bee, Madhusudana, and causes him to appear there. So bhava and prema, devotion toward pure devotion, is so powerful, so beautiful, that it attracts the supreme attractive being. That Krishna becomes attracted. So at that time, his eyes fully long to turn towards Vajendra Nandana, to lick the blackness of his limbs, the rosy hue of his lips and eye rims. So this is the black color of his limbs, the rosy hue of his lips and eye, you know, the edges of his eyes, the white brilliance of his teeth, and the yellow of his cloth. So if you remember those four colors, you can remember. His throat chokes up. Countless streams of tears bathe his body, and he longs for his ears to be adorned with the earrings of the songs of Krishna's flute, the jingling of his ankle bells, and the sweet sound of his voice. Here I'll read a little kin kini rasa by, how does that one? That's a cool verse. Kin kini. Okay, where is the verse? Come on, computer, don't be slow. Kin kini. If I had it memorized, then I wouldn't keep you waiting. Kini. Rabbi Sai. I don't have it memorized. Verses to remember. Maybe I click on that and it'll appear. Atmarama verse. Here it is. As soon as you click on it, then it starts loading and it's forever. King Kini Rabbi Say. I don't remember it, but it's basically, it's beautiful. We'll get back to it. Thus it seems that he's running here and there, freezing his motion every moment, raising his ears, then thinking how the tender touch. King Kini Rabbi Sai, Ran Kana Rubi Rinkanai Sadantam. Kun Kunu Pada Yugalam. Kan Kana Kara Mushanam Harim Vande. This is from the Krishna Karnamritam. This is the translation done by Dravida Prabhu. I bow to Lord Hari, whose waist bells tinkle as he crawls through his father's yard. His ankle bells jingle and his bangles jangle as he melts Vrindavan's heart. So he's thinking how soft the Lord's hands be. His body erupts in ecstasy. His nostril opens wide again and he inhales, as if to examine the divine fragrance of the Lord's body. Oh, will I ever taste the nectar of the Lord's lips? This is as if he's in that kind of conjugal relationship, feeling that all of his senses are going mad. Smelling the fragrance of the tulsi, like this. So he's going mad, and it doesn't stop there. It just keeps on going. And all right, so let's look at our verse again. And actually, let's go back to the Bhagavatam study guide. And you can see we covered Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, and we didn't really cover Bhava or Prema. And we have to go to Bhagavat Sabodhini by Gauranga Darshan Prabhu. This is first canto, second canto, a very short kind of summary. If you want an elaborate study guide on the Bhagavatam, then you need to get the books by Burijan Prabhu, which we included in the emails. So we looked at these verses, Sushusha, Shadadanasya, this is starting Shraddha, Sadhistanga, Bhajana Kriya, then it comes Bhajana Kriya and Archana Vritti. Then we have that verse, Nashtra Prayeshu Badreshu, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, Bhagavati Uttama Shloke, Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. So this is Nishta, this Naishtiki. This verse is going through an Archana Vritti up to the stage of Nishta, steadiness. Then the lower modes disappear and one becomes happy. Tadara just tamo bhava, kamaloba dayasche, chita etir anadvedam stitam satve prasidati. So this is ruchi, asakti, as we covered. The effects of the lower modes of passion, ignorance, lust, desire, and hankering disappear from the heart. The mind becomes unaffected, being established in goodness, and one becomes completely happy. So this is ruchi, and then this is this stitam. This fully attached is asakti. And then today's verse is the evam prasana manaso. So this is when one is actually coming to bhava, fondness, or great deep sense of attraction, and then devotional prema. As we said, that some of at these stages now, like a darshanam, this is the stage where you're actually having direct experience, that you're in Krishna's personal presence. That's when the offenses against the 10 offenses become eradicated. By engaging in contact devotional service, Bhagavad Bhakti Yogi, contact, that means that actual, and the key words in this verse, evam prasana manaso, Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga. Yogata means contact, and vijnana means actual experience and realization. And his mind is completely enlivened. All right. So this is going through all the 9 stages. This is like the last verse. 21 is, I believe, kind of a summary there. And also, so let's go to our Bhagavatam and we'll recite. Evam prasana manaso.
Evam prasana manaso.
Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha.
Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha.
Evam prasana manaso.
Evam prasana manaso.
Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha.
Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha.
Evam prasana manaso.
Evam prasana manaso.
Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha.
Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha.
Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam.
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 Bhagavad vijnanam.
Mukta sangasya jayate.
Mukta sangakya jayate.
Mukta sangasya jayate.
Mukta sangakya jayate.
Evam prasana manaso.
Evam prasana manaso.
Bhagavad Bhakti Yogitaha.
Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha.
Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam.
Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam.
Mukta Sangasya Jayate.
Mukta sangasya jayate.
Evam Prasana Manaso.
Evam prasana manaso.
Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha.
Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha.
Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam.
Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam.
Mukta Sangasya Jayate.
Mukta sangasya jayate.
And so the words that we might not know, I think Evam and Prasana is probably our least known words, and maybe Jayate. Manasa, we heard this one a lot. That's the mind. Bhagavad Bhakti, devotion towards God, and the yoga, the connecting. That it's connecting. It's causing. It's a type of contact. Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga. And Bhagavad Tattva. Tattva, we should know. Tattva means it's a truth or realization. It's like a tat means that, va is ness. Thatness means something you can identify. So something that is true, something that can be clearly identified. Vijnanam. Jnanam, we've heard knowledge. Vijnanam. This is a V is an intensifier. Vijnana means something that's more than you just know, that you've heard, or is something you experienced. Mukta, mukti, liberated. Sangasya, the association. Jayate, maybe this jayate means like because we always jaya is always like victory. We can click on it. Let's see where it takes us. Jayate. How's it be? Becomes possible, effective. I guess yeah, it's not. Doesn't seem to be related to the. Oh, it looks like it's related to like the Jaya, Janma, or like comes to being. Born, expands, generates, takes birth, comes into being. There's a Bhagavad Gita verse, takes place, arises. I think kind of the word arises kind of gives a nice general. So what comes effective? What arises from this Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam realization? Mukta Sadasya. Become liberated from the, and I think Sangha is here in the negative sense that it's liberated from material kind of connection. Evam prasana manaso. Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha.
Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha.
Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam.
Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam.
Mukta Sangasya Jayate.
Mukta sangasya jayate.
Evam prasana manaso.
Evam prasana manaso.
Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha.
Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha.
Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam.
Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam.
Mukta Sangasya Jayate.
Mukta sangasya jayate.
Carmen, can you lead us through some chants?
Sure. Evam prasanna manasya bhagavat bhakti.
Do one line at a time so Dana Kate can recite it after.
Okay. Evam prasanna manasya
Evam prasana manaso
bhagavat bhakti yogataha
Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha
bhagavat tattva vijnanam
Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam
mukta sangasya jayate.
Mukta Sangasya Jayate.
Oh, so Haribol?
One more time.
Okay, hold on. Okay. Evam prasanna manasya
Evam Prasana Manaso
bhagavat bhakti yogataha
Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha
Yogataha.
yogataha bhagavat tattva vijnanam
Bhagavad
Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam
mukta sangasya jayate.
Mukta
Sangasya Jayate. Okay, can anybody say the first line without looking at it?
Evam prasanna manasya.
Okay, again.
Evam prasanna manasya.
Again.
Evam prasanna manasya.
Again.
Evam prasanna manasya.
Okay, and the next two should be easy, isn't it?
Bhagavat bhakti yogataha. Bhagavat tattva vijnanam. Mukta sangasya jayate.
Yes, very good, very good.
Okay.
And Dana K, you want to give it a shot? Try to see what can you say without looking at it?
Why? Okay. Evam Prasana Manaso
Very nice. Do that one again. Again.
Evam Prasana Manaso.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the second one.
Bhagavat.
Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha.
Yeah.
Bhagavad
Truth.
Tattva
Yeah.
Vijnanam
Yeah.
Mukta Sangasya Jayate.
Perfect. 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 And one more time.
Evam Prasana Manaso
Yeah.
Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha.
Yeah.
Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate.
Perfect. Perfect.
It mixed up when to start with Bhagavad or Bhagavat. So
Yeah.
I always have to stop it.
Bhagavat. Tattva Vijnanam. And it's basically the same word. It's just when you put tattva, it just sounds like Bhagavat Tattva. It just sounds more like a T. It just becomes, this is the way Sanskrit works. When it's written, sometimes it changes the letters based on how when letters are placed next to each other, how they affect the sound coming out.
I gotcha. Thanks.
All right. So thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Om Tat Sat. Any takeaways for you? Anything you want to share as a takeaway?
I really liked what you said when it came to like where you can't measure if like someone is being like kind and forgiving, you measure on like how much they can go back to Krishna.
Yeah, their depths of their attachment.
Yeah, their depths of their attachment to Krishna.
Yeah.
It's really nice because those people, they study Śrīmad Bhāgavatam and so on and so forth, and they chant. So they can give like some wonderful advice.
And it's all just waiting to come, you know. The mango is hard and sour in the beginning, but just let it sit there for some time. Let it ripen, you know, on the tree of devotional service, and then it becomes soft and sweet. Very, very soft and sweet. The devotees are like mangoes. In the beginning, maybe sour and hard, but just give it a little time.
Definitely.
Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Quickly he becomes, I will make him Dharmatma. Krishna says, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, I will make him a righteous soul. Good day, Prachi. This is specifically especially for those who have bad habits, but have some kind of, regret and hope to change. If someone is what is called what is the word? Anutap and Niranutap. Tapa means like heat, and Anutap means to follow. So if the person if the devotee performs some kind of bad action, and what follows in him is this heat of regrets, then he's really in that quality. He's what we're referring to. There is what is called the Niranutap, person who performs horrible things, but doesn't have any sense of regret. Never has any sense of regret. This is more of a nonsense person than a person who is, such a person may truly not be very advanced, or may, be just kind of a pretentious person. So there must be, if not externally, at least some internal regret for misdeeds, hurting others, etc., to qualify for this famous verse, Apichet Sudaracharo Bhajate Mam Ananyabhak Sadar Eva Samantya Samyak Devjito Hisa. Krishna says in chapter 9, even if my devotee is very badly behaved, Arjuna, consider him a sadhu. If he's do achar means what? Activities, behavior. Your acharya is someone who teaches by his example, and prachar is what we're talking, we're speaking. But what really matters is achar, what we're doing, how do we behave? So even if my devotee is sudurachar, not just badly behaved, but sudurachar, very badly behaved, but he is fixed in devotion. He's like, I have all these bad qualities, but one thing is true, I will not give up my Lord. I will always try to go towards him. Such a person, Krishna says, Sadhu Eva, consider him a sadhu. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, I will reform him. I will quickly reform him. I would take that as my own business to reform such a person. And so that should not be blanketly ascribed to anyone who's performing devotional service but is very abusive. The person has to have this kind of internal or external regret. Otherwise, it can be considered not a very advanced devotee, but maybe a very pretentious person. So one time, His Holiness Giriraj Swami went to Srila Prabhupada, and he was complaining about this one devotee. And this devotee later on became he was very eccentric when he joined the temple and joined the ashram. He became actually a great scholar, and he translated, almost 100 books from Sanskrit to English. He became very brilliant, and that devotee barely even recognized him many decades later when he saw him. And he was complaining, and Prabhupada told him, "Tolerate him as I've tolerated you." So we are also objects of tolerance ourselves, so we can tolerate others. All right.
That was nice.
What you're saying?
Oh, I said that was nicely said. One more thing. The class like reminded me of something someone said, a guru from Houston. He said, spiritual, I think it's like spiritual progress or like spiritual life is like character development, something like that. And it kind of like stuck with me because like Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and then the guidance of the gurus, it like really does do character development.
Absolutely,
You
yeah.
start to learn to be more tolerant, more forgiving.
And you're also Krishna's project. He works on you too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's like wonderful that we all have a relationship, or we're trying to have a relationship with Krishna. But Krishna can reciprocate with everyone. It doesn't matter what like people are doing in the world, like he can reciprocate and we can reciprocate back. So it's just phenomenal.
Very nice, very nice. Dana Kate, would you have any take-homes?
There's so much in there. I loved that like picture you had with the all the different levels and different explanations. And I remember you saying like the mind's job is like attachment and aversion. And so obviously the goal is attach more and more to Krishna and have that steady focus and steady mind. And it always makes me think of whenever, I think Raghu always says like, you're going to serve something or someone. So why not Krishna? And I feel like the mind too, it's like my mind's going to go to something and attach to it. So why not make it Krishna, and so just keep working on that, every day.
Very nice. Yes. If we become this is the mind is the greatest friend, or the mind is the greatest enemy. So just the yogi has controlled his mind, and the devotee is even, it becomes that the mind is not even necessarily at the advanced level, that he's taking a hold of the mind through his intelligence, but the mind itself has Krishna as its object of attraction. Therefore, it just accepts things that are favorable in his connection to Krishna and rejects things that are unfavorable in his connection to Krishna, without even the employment of the intelligence saying, this is good, this is good. The mind just likes, that's my sweetheart, that's where I want to go. We can hopefully work towards that stage, heart become very purified. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for those who are online land who are watching this video later. Om Tat Sat. Thanks a lot. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.